You bring the sun out to warm my life up, to make my love grow every day. You bring the stars out to light the night up, to make the darkness go away. You bring the sun out to warm my life up, to make my love grow every day. You bring the stars out to light the night up, to make the darkness go away. I reach to you, you reach to me. No matter where I go, I know you'll always be. Never too far, far from my heart. I'll always have you here. I'll always know you're near, to bring the sun out, to warm my life up, to make my love grow every day. You bring the stars out to light the night up, to make the darkness go away. To make the darkness go away.
So and how does it feel to be in the Central Park?
Nice. Just to unwind,
To unwind the thoughts
of course.
of the series. No, but it's good because we had a really intensive week working properly, everything. I guess it was a good time. Oh, what is this now? Okay, this is our bench. So right now we're sitting in Midland Central Park at a bench from somebody we recorded before.
We do.
And it's a great pleasure that Mr. Tiburcio Villamor Marcos Talano Tagian IV will explain some things to me or
Oh,
to...
you call me again, Mister.
Oh, Her Royal Highness.
Thank you.
Because that's really true. So he opened up this whole story to me. What I first couldn't get the whole picture, but it takes a while because it's a really a high magnitude about everything. And
You
the
have
future
to
will
tell
tell.
them that I have to scrutinize every other
So, and the future will tell.
records to understand fully well.
Okay, but that's good.
The significance and the magnitude of what we're doing.
Yeah. So, and the very good thing about this is because we're not building bombs, we're not building weapons. We're building up, or we try to build up, a new peaceful society with the backup from Her Royal Highness Tiburcio Villamor Marcos, which is the biggest secret, I guess, on this planet.
Well,
Some
you
of
have to start from the very beginning that these are actually the assets of the 12 Roman emperors. And one of the key emperor is my grandfather, Emperor Marcus Ulpius Trajanus
continue.
of Rome.
It was
And this asset during the 117 AD, this asset are called the asset of the code of king of recognized asset nation. These are the asset of the king of kings. That includes the King Solomon's gold.
Wow. So, how many people do you think are globally aware about these treasuries?
The treasury is known by the US government because all the 12 treasuries are filled up with gold, platinum, and gems that belongs to the king of recognized asset nation.
Wow.
And it has been distributed to practically
All countries.
all countries. The 77 countries under central bank are the recipient at the same time of these assets.
Wow. Is there anything to, let's say, to amend on this statement, or
Then this has been properly authenticated, verified, protected by the Regulatory Commission Bureau and regulatory offices all over the world.
which is the regulatory commission bureau is the Federal Reserve System, the U.S. Treasury, the Court of Justice, the International Court of, you know it much better than me. So it's the
Of
Vatican.
course, these are covered by from the testamentary and from the Committee of 300 to the Trilateral Commission, the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Treasury, the United Nations as a whole. the League of Nations,
Wow.
who attested to it, and all the regulatory body that are involved, the International Monetary Fund as a management company or treasury, they actually monitor the central banks of central banks.
Wow, that's information I guess only few people do have on this planet.
Of course. And these are actually properly protected by the League of Nations all the way to the Vatican Caritas.
Wow. So which role is the Vatican playing in this game? If I allowed to say.
They are the diocese that bless this asset.
Oh, okay.
They're the chaplain of this whole asset. And some of these assets are at the vault of the Vatican. And all the gold that you see all over the world belong to this trust.
So which means let's put it this way, the Austrian, I know the Austrian government has by themselves, I think, 240 metric tons, which it's...
They are allocated 500,000 metric ton of gold. In 1999, it was actually deposited to them, probably in a format of documentary.
Because it's not being there in physical form, it's stored somewhere else on this planet, secured by special guards, by special powers, I guess, because it would be too much to fool around with that asset. It's
indeed, these are all properly documented, and much so that they are properly protected today. They are like the system, and they're actually even monitored now by satellite.
So this means if anybody would come close to this hidden property, this guy would immediately be monitored and and would be kept off this place.
Make no mistake, if the Fort Knox, which is the last depository of all these assets, is fully protected, then all these Golden Lily sites are properly protected by the whole regulatory body and commissions that we've been describing.
Okay, thank you so much for the information for right now. Thank you. But you have to explain to me properly what the Code of Arms really means. I know what it means to you, but what it means to this institution.
That's the monarchy coat of arms that you see. We are walking through in front of the building.
Okay.
You will see coat of arm emblem right on the building.
So this is the place where many things on this planet decided, and it's quite interesting. Just have a look through. Wow. So there are 3 flags special meaning, like the pyramid. His Royal Highness, can you explain to me why exactly this is on this building?
Since the British Empire, which I belong, the monarchy.
Thank you so much. So do your people back home know exactly what's going on here? Or is it also secret?
No, these are all special missions to all of us.
Okay, I do understand. I did some nice pictures because I wanted to frame all the flags here.
Beautiful restaurants down below.
Okay, so, and I guess in wintertime it's a skating area.
It is. This is also the main plaza, Rockefeller Plaza.
Okay.
This is, as I've said, this has been the place where the officers of the regulatory body of the Committee of 300 and the Trilateral Commission.
Thank you so much.
This is as well the Alpha Omega is born.
That's beautiful. So this is then the headquarters in the States here?
Yes, this is where the Alpha Omega begin. And the mission, the statement of the King of Recognized Asset Nation, which embodied with the United Nations.
Thank you so much. Something for myself. So this is it. This is the Rockefeller Plaza building. The place where the big shots of these planets are shown. So now we are leaving the Rockefeller Plaza building or the Rockefeller Plaza Center, heading down to Fifth Avenue, I guess. Fifth Avenue. So this is the library, beautiful, and also the meeting point for some of your closest bodies.
With the committee of the 300 and with the Trilateral Commission.
So if I'm allowed to ask, which kinds of decisions are made here?
The final decision so far.
So which means the final shots in this world?
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much for the invitation, sir.
All right. This should be a beautiful.
I think it should be a beautiful small documentary that the people back home know what's really going on this planet and have a little bit of feeling about the decision makers or about the real decisions. And we don't want to go deeper.
Finally, these are all decided, and it's just a question that will be able to accomplish the provision of the stimulus fund and
For the global economy.
the restructure the global backup.
For almost all currencies in the world.
Definitely to all central banks in the world.
Because my understanding is from these documents I could read, all these backups matured in 2005 and they had an extension until 2010 without any backups since that moment on.
Yes, definitely everybody is actually falling apart because all the currencies in the world, all the central banks don't have any more the backup.
That's correct. So
It's a question that this has to be restructured.
and it's the first time since, I guess, 50 years that this takes place now again. So it's a historical moment, in fact.
It is after like about the 30 years, this will again be restructured because all the stimulus
by the way.
fund.
You have a nice bank. Can you say anything about... Be honest.
Well, you're looking at the HSBC. This is one of the banks that my grandfather
Founded.
the famous Baron Souderland founded, and we own this bank.
Which is...
This has been one of the banks of El Banco Español
the manager.
Filipina Isabel II.
Wow. So please tell me, how much is 1 hour of education with you? How much is it?
It costs you a lot of fortune. It's priceless.
It's priceless. So okay, let's find another way how to compensate, make a compensation for that. The only thing what I can do is to do it in my own way, to make a nice movie and a nice production for you. Also for your people back home on the Philippines, because they are not really aware what you're really doing.
No problem. It's not only in Asia, but the whole world.
Oh, sorry. Thank you so much.
Sued us for like about, he said he renovated it for 150 million, and we just have let him go, and we didn't even dispute anymore.
Oh shit.
But I own this property.
Is you? Who was it?
One of our advisors. the flag. Building that
This is the
you're in
treasury.
front of it, yes. That's the Federal Reserve building.
So there they keep all the records.
All the records, yes. You don't go here for a meeting.
No?
Definitely. No. Because this is for the archives. These are for the metals. These are the gold. This is the Federal Reserve System of New York. You understand what it is now?
Yep.
Out of Chicago. We have Federal Reserve System of California, Federal Reserve System of New York. This is the Federal Reserve System of New York.
Each, altogether, there are 12. 12 or 13.
12. The old one is 12. The last one was Fort Knoxville. That's the 13th.
Oh,
We've been monitored by the I think more. With the exception that now at the turf of the regulatory body.
you can do if you want. Just let me know. That should be enough.
It should be.
But it's okay. So now we're heading to the center of the center. Huh?
So that's what ADP had told us they were going to do. Like when I was
the city.
So what you're saying is that you intend to buy some of the most desirable buildings in New York in the next 3 years.
All the banks, Chase, JP Morgan, Bank of America, and Citibank actually are begging me to take their performing notes. And this actually are covered, and they are financed by all these three big banks, as I mentioned. So it's just a question that I'll actually have to acquire all the finance, real estate, properties, office buildings, and apartment buildings financed by the bank.
So which means you could buy, as you mentioned, all the mortgages for 70 or 80 cents a dollar, which would be a big thing. But just let me that would indicate that you own most of the buildings in Manhattan then.
Well, if all those buildings that are in the portfolio of the Citibank, Chase, JP Morgan, and Bank of America, all those mortgages, they will sell it as a conforming mortgage.
By the way, this should be Times Square, I guess.
Yes, it is.
So, is there any time frame when you want to accomplish the whole?
This has been already decided by the banks themselves.
Okay. So we are here now at the very famous Times Square with a lot of lights, and everything was underwater a few weeks ago. So are there some special or most desirable buildings you like to acquire?
Whatever portfolio the banks have that they wishes to sell, I will all buy the performing mortgages.
So this is Times Square, I guess. But your special place is somewhere else.
The monetary authority matured. It matured dating back 2005, although there has been like about 5-year moratorium. Today, none of the monetary authority had the backup. they all mature, and this has to be restructured. And this is now being led by the regulatory body. The people that will actually restructure this whole agreement or infrastructure will be through the monetary authority of the central bank of the central banks, which is the International Monetary Fund. They are the body that will put together this agreement with among the regulatory body and among our mission with Alpha Omega.
Thank you so much.
Marshall Program.
Thank you for this comprehensive information. So we're sitting now here in middle of New York, except especially in Times Square. I think it's not your your main quarter here, but purposely we came here to do some nice interviews about the whole agenda of what's going on in the world. And my question is the following. So you've been raised up, I think it was not an easy childhood. It was not easy because you had to be hidden away because of these assets. So possibly you couldn't have lived a normal childhood that I could have, and I'm thankful for my parents. They raised me up this way, but on the other side, as you informed me, you've been kept away with a year, 4 years, I guess, and you've been kept away to a very important man, which is Santa Romana, who is at the same time this person who kept you with him, that you are safe and nobody could harm you. Is this okay?
It does. Actually, 60 years of my life as a young boy, I was actually taken care by a priest by the name of the Jose Severino Antonio Diaz Santa Romana. He is also my major
Trustee, I guess.
trustee or trust depositor, who's been depositing all this asset with all my other trust depositors all over the world. He took care of me since I was actually age 4, being kept by two among my trustees. So with a banker and also a major trust depositor who served as the Chinese government major international banker by the name of Tan Kake. He is also the founding father of the banking industry of China. These are the people actually that kept me. And today I have fully inherited the this asset, and being a member of the monarchy, I'm the last surviving prince that inherited the asset of the 12 emperors of the Roman Empire. Of course, my main predecessor is actually Emperor Marcus Ulpius Trajanus of Rome. And I inherited, again, I would tell this, that I inherited the king of recognized asset nation through Alpha Omega, which they founded, dating back in 117 AD.
That's a very strong information, sir.
And all these go with diamonds, platinum, precious metals are kept through the protection now of the regulatory body, all the way to the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and the involvement of all the regulatory commissions and bureaus, from the Committee of 300, the Trilateral Nations Commission, the United Nations, signed by League of Nations of United Nations, and properly adjudicated through the International Criminal Court and International Court of Justice. All these assets are protected and are actually through the protection, and it's properly registered in the International Bank settlement for the purpose. Moritz and
So my two boys are Moritz and Oscar. So I would ask you to tell them what their father is really doing.
well, to the two of you, my son, I'll put it that way, because I'm an older man, older than your father, Maurice and Oscar. Never believe this, but your father had actually had Borgio Villamor, Marcos Taliano Tagian, and he is with me. He is my major trustee, and you're gonna be very lucky, because your father has made everything for both of your future at the same time, because you will understand this fully well. Perhaps your father will mention you. He is my everything. He is my big bibliographer, he is my archivist, he is also my confidant, my trustee, and my mandated person. He can do everything. Perhaps he can now withdraw $1 billion of our assets with Alpha Omega Marshall Program.
Thank you so much for the, because this is very important to me as a person, because my boys are good boys and they are very, very down to earth and they have no idea what their father is doing. So thank you so much.
You are lucky boys because you have a father that is really genius enough to help our process. As I've said, he's brilliant. He helped me to direct these objectives and the mission statement of what we are doing. But this will be a priceless reward for my good friend Don Antonio Ramsal.
Thank you.
Believe me, you have a good father for that purpose.
I would have a final question, and hopefully allowed to answer it. As we know, there are many rumors that are going around through these special things, which on some special notes in the back. In fact, there is a meaning behind all the, let's say, all these global assets, what you have inherited. And I'm very thankful that you're a person, a human being who is capable enough to direct this in a direction which is leading to humanity, not to dictatorship, only to humanity. May I ask you what you really want to do in the next few years to implement these assets, these humongous assets?
We actually have planned this for almost now 7 years since we starts maturing. Especially the global assets that are backing up the monetary authority of central banks. All I have to do, because this belongs to the global assets of the spiritual funds of King Solomon, King David, and all the way down to the spiritual advisors. It's also considered to be the asset of the whole world.
Thank you so much. And thank you for this rare interview. And I was more than glad to be together with a person I really admire very much, I respect very much, and at the same time I'm allowed to say like very much, because Mr. Marcus Tiburcio Villamor Marcus is a very rare, let's I've ever met. Very down to earth, and at the same time very spiritual, and never ever loud in any word, always well behaved and very down to earth and very up in the skies.